German Economy Minister Robert Habeck says he is in favour of strengthening business ties with China, but some sectors of the German economy should remain off the table. Speaking to our Asian colleagues in an exclusive interview, Habeck said it's time for a new approach to doing business with Beijing.
It's important to understand that from my perspective, the German government's perspective, China is a partner and should also be for the future. And we are an open market society. There's nothing wrong with companies from China to invest in Germany and German companies to invest in China. But there's critical infrastructure. There are some sectors that are not opened for sale. And therefore, we have to change the politics in that areas. Some part of the health business, for example, semiconductors, also critical infrastructure like ports, airports, and telecommunication and energy, of course, just to name a few. And there we have changed the politics a lot. The general assumption in German law is investment is welcome, and then the government has to search if it's not welcome. Now we are saying in these areas, money from abroad, the European Union is regarded skeptically. There might be some exceptions, but we have changed the prefixes. And for the exports, the market in China, it's more or less the same. Okay, if people want to do business in China, that's fine with us. But subsidizing the businesses, giving guarantees to the businesses, state money that guarantee like all eggs in one basket politics, that's wrong. Because we have seen with regard to the Russian war on Ukraine, that what seems to be a reliable partner can very, very soon turn out in one that is hijacking you.
You're coming up with a new China strategy. I wonder what that entails.
In the area of trade, we will have a cap on the guarantee the state gives for the companies. So if you're going above above the investment, the cap, we are talking about 3 billion euros. If you have more investments than 3 billion euros, then you can do it, but the state won't guarantee for that. And on the other hand, we will have a percentage rate. If a lot of the guarantees are in one country, this is China, of course, then you have to pay an extra fee. If you're going to another country, let's say Singapore, Vietnam, whatever, it's cheaper for you. And this will change the rules of the market. Then the companies, or the German companies, will search for other places.
Is there unity within your coalition on the China approach?
Yes.
Okay. And what I want to understand is that do you have enough backing from German businesses? Because it seems like, and from the reports I read, are a bit reluctant in reducing dependence from China.
Well, I would say that generally everyone agrees on a new strategy on politics that have learned their lessons. Saying we are an open market is not saying we are a stupid market. So we have to be careful. This is, I think this is a common sense also among the business leaders in Germany. But of course there are some business models that were built up the past 30 years. There were investment plans over the next decade. And for them, this change they can agree on in theory is kind of hard and demanding, and this I understand and I in a way accept. But anyway, we have to do this change. So I would say, on a broad theoretical abstract level, we are fine with that. In concrete details, we have to discuss a little bit.
Right. When you say, and I want to just scratch that point again, when you say that there's unity on the China approach within the coalition, could you elaborate a bit more on what the thinking is between the Social Democrats, the Liberals, as well as the Greens on this matter?
Well, actually, once again, I think there's unity with regard to China on an abstract level. We can easily agree on a strategy, on a theory, on a theoretical political approach. When it comes to concrete action, there might be different views. I can't promise you that we never will have an argument again in the cabinet. One example could be the port of Hamburg, where there was an interest of the Chinese company Costco to buy one terminal. It's one of 4 terminals in Hamburg. It's the smallest one, and they want to invest 35%. So you could argue and say, well, this is the smallest of 4, it's only 35%. So where is the influence on the port of Hamburg? I see the bigger picture. I say it's not only about Hamburg, you have to see other European ports, and then you see there are ports completely biting for, and you see a dynamic that the argument in Hamburg was we have to accept that because Rotterdam and Zeebrugge, Netherlands and Belgian ports, they have also COSCO investments, and then we have a rise to the top, a competition about Chinese investments. And there I said personally we have to stop that. So this is in concrete details, there might be different views, but everyone in the government would agree that it's not good to have Chinese investments in critical infrastructure. Saying that is not a cause of argument, but looking into the concrete details causes some discussion.